Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new movie Meatloaf recommendation video. This episode I have a really great movie I want to recommend. I don't even really remember how Antonio and I first started chatting online, but we quickly realized we had a lot in common when it came to filmmaking. He told me about his adventures in low-budget horror movies on the Flush Studios podcast when we recorded that. We commiserated about the hard parts of working with what you have and independent, truly independent filmmaking. Antonio is actually one of the finalists on Rebel Without a Crew, and he didn't end up on the show, but he went and made his own goddamn movie, One Must Fall. And while I love the experience of what Rebel Without a Crew was, this movie is the proof that the drive and passion you have can get something awesome done, and you don't need that push from something like Robert Rodriguez or a reality show. One Must Fall has varying tones, going from funny to gross to creepy to absolutely twisted, and it does it all pretty damn seamlessly. The story revolves around a down-on-her-luck gal who takes a temporary job on a crime scene cleanup crew.
How sure are we that they're gone?
Oh, well, like with the coroner removes them usually before we...
No, sorry. I meant, how sure are we that the killer is gone or apprehended?
It takes place in the 80s, which Antonio explained was a way to get around cell phones and modern things that make it easier to get away from something like this situation.
Sidebar, I didn't do an 80s film because nostalgia is popular right now. I had to get rid of cell phones and technology so that I could make a slasher film, you know?
It doesn't force that 80s down your throat through the whole movie, but it allows you to disconnect from the simple, why didn't they justs of the story. Antonio talked to the Indie Film Hustle about other compromises that went into making One Must Fall.
Keep it fixated to one location if you can. Few locations as possible, few actors as possible, you know, that kind of thing. And use your resources, the things that you have access to. So I had access to this warehouse, so that's kind of where I started.
With no budget or truly indie movies, you have to make these compromises and do things in order to get your product made. You have to make compromises and adapt, and that's exactly what Antonio did with this movie. I try not to spoil the movies too much in these videos, but I will say that the villain in this movie is a real gem to watch. Barry Pashante slays, literally and proverbially. He's dark, sadistic, and his reasons for doing what he's doing are fascinating to me. Even though Antonio filmed this in a few short weeks, you really feel the characters of the movie. He didn't compromise the performances, and you really see that. To me, this movie truly embodies what indie filmmaking is, especially horror indie filmmaking. It's not gonna please everyone, and that's okay. It's weird, it's dark, it's low budget, but for the people who dig it, they're going to really love it. I'll say the movie has some fun fucking moments, including a cameo from Lloyd Kaufman, nasty gory practical effects, and a cast that really goes above and beyond to make it not feel like you're watching a low-budget movie. It wears that low budget on its sleeve. You can see that everyone loves it so much that they're putting their heart into making something good. The real star of this movie, though, is the passion Antonio puts on camera.
They said if you truly want to do something, then you'll find a way, but if you truly don't, then you'll find an excuse, and that's the truth, man. Get out there and do it!
A lot of low-budget horror feels like it's just being made to be made. Like they just wanted to make a movie and that was it.
Such a tragedy.
Yeah, I know, it's brutal. But hey, tragedy keeps us in business, right?
Whether one likes this movie or not, it's pretty hard to argue that the filmmakers behind it really wanted to tell their story and make this movie what it is.
Story is king. That's all it matters.
Story is always king, man, no question.
That sort of passion let me sit back, enjoy the movie, just go for the ride of what One Must Fall is. It's fun horror. You'll fall in love with One Must Fall. I'm a fucking idiot. As always, don't let your meatloaf, folks.